On today's show, we've returned to beautiful Cannon Beach on the scenic Oregon coast, where an old friend of mine, Robert Neroni, has opened a terrific kitchen shop and a cooking school, and we're going to create some wonderful recipes for you, so stay with us.
Best of Taste. Travels with John Sarich. Delicious recipes, outstanding wines, and unique lifestyles. With your host, Chef John Sarich.
Cannon Beach is truly an amazing year-round getaway, and it's been an inspiration to visitors for hundreds of years. In 1806, Captain William Clark was the first to put pen to paper in describing this beautiful spot. Clark wrote in his journal, "From this point I beheld the grandest and most pleasing prospects which my eyes ever surveyed." Clark and his small search party from the Corps of Discovery had arrived in what is now Cannon Beach, and they surveyed what is perhaps one of the most beautiful stretches of beach on the Oregon coast. Today, the rugged shoreline, the wide sandy beaches, and the majestic coastal forests all combine to make Cannon Beach a wonderful setting for a peaceful retreat or a home base for outdoor adventures. The city's best-known landmark, Haystack Rock, rises majestically out of the ever-churning waters of the Pacific, beckoning visitors to marvel at its sheer size and observe the sea creatures that call it home. Cannon Beach is definitely the kind of place where you can leave all the hustle and bustle of the city behind, while enjoying all the best aspects of a seaside resort town. There are great local attractions for visitors, including fantastic art galleries and studios, along with many unique shops and restaurants. For over 100 years, families have made Cannon Beach their preferred vacation spot, and in conjunction with the nearby towns of Seaside and Astoria, you'll find all the comforts and convenience of home within a short distance. There's a great variety of accommodations here, from quiet hideaways to luxurious resorts. We discovered a fantastic oceanfront resort called the Ocean Lodge, a property that was recently renovated to expand on a motel built in the 1950s. What was once the 7-room major motel is now a 45-room resort just up the beach near Haystack Rock. As I mentioned earlier, we were invited to visit beautiful Cannon Beach by my friends Bob Neroni and Lenore Emery. Their combination cooking school, catering kitchen, and culinary store is called EVO, which stands for Extra Virgin Olive Oil. The Cannon Beach Cooking School is dedicated to help students discover and explore the subtleties of food and wine through hands-on prep and demonstration classes. Bob and Lenore enjoy sharing their culinary passions with visitors, and they've designed a perfect space for the training classes, catering preparations, and for presenting a wide variety of culinary gifts. And today we'll have a few special guests to sample the finished dishes. Stay tuned for more Best of Taste from the EVO Cooking School in Cannon Beach, Oregon. Well, Bob, we're finally in the kitchen here at EVO, and you're going to do some
pan-seared salmon.
Pan-seared salmon is the first one. This is going to go fast because what we're going to do, you've got 4 dishes, and this
That's correct.
This is the kind of thing that this shop does.
Absolutely. We do this about once a day, 7 days a week through the season. Yeah, so we stay busy.
And you get a nice little spread of people out here, nice crowd.
This is a great group of people. These actually represent our closest friends and people who really supported us to get open.
That's great.
And this is our this is culminating with our first class.
Ah, great. So, and we're getting on film, so this
Yeah,
is perfect.
thank
So
you.
why don't we go ahead and start? I'm going to help you out. So
Okay, great.
Let's talk about the first dish you're going to do.
First dish we're going to do, we're starting with an Alaskan troll-caught king salmon. And if you want to grab that out of the refrigerator, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the stove here. We're going to cook this we're going to start the saute pan at a high heat. Go ahead and pop that down there.
Okay.
And what I want to do is just get the pan hot before I add my olive oil. We'll talk a little bit about the olive oil here in a minute.
Okay.
With the salmon, what we've done is we've cut small squares of paillard, which is basically a 2x2 square. What I'd like you to do, if you could, we're going to start with the Vignolta salt.
This is great stuff. This is the herb kind of infused salt that we're talking about?
Yeah, it's really neat. It's from the Vignolta family in Venice, Italy, and go a little bit more. And what they do is they dry the sea salt with fresh herbs and garlic.
Always an exec chef, you know. A little bit more. All right.
And then we're going to add some ground coriander.
Okay.
And what we've done is we've toasted it to kind of pull some of the licorice flavor out of that.
Yeah. You want that fairly heavy?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, a little bit more. And now my pan is just about getting hot. I'll put my hand over it. If it feels a little warm to my hand without touching, then we're about ready. I'm going to turn that down to a moderate heat so I don't burn the salmon.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and use the Borromeo olive oil,
You
which
want
is
this
that
one?
one.
And
Yes.
just drizzle it on top?
A little bit on the salmon. Perfect.
Like that?
That's great. And then give me a little bit in the pan here, if you don't mind. Thank
And
you.
of course, your shop sells these too, which is neat about this. It's a cooking school. It's a kitchen
Retail.
shop.
Kitchen
retail.
shop,
You've
yeah.
got some great stuff. Yeah.
Well, my wife and partner had deemed the culinary wardrobe and culinary pantry. So what we try to do is stock pots and pans and knives and things that you would want to have in your own kitchen, as well as virgin olive oil, sea salts, and things like that.
Right.
So this actually is one of the oils we're going to use. All right, so what I'm looking for here is really for the oil to start dissipating, which it's doing. And the olive oil has a low viscosity because of the acid in it. So I think we're about, no, we're not ready yet.
I was, it's funny because they always talk about extra virgin olive oil. You don't always want to use for hot sear because it has a low heat point,
Right,
right?
low smoke
But you
point.
know, I always do it. I
Yeah.
mean, I still, at this point, because I'm not searing for long periods of time. I think if I
Right.
did, I'd use probably pure olive oil, maybe, I guess, but not the extra virgin. But for this kind of stuff, I'd use the extra virgin too.
Yeah, I've used, let's see, I think that's about ready. No, actually, it's still not getting a sear.
That's almost there.
Yeah, let's tune it up a little bit more. I've used pumice oil for deep frying, and that's
Oh, really?
nice because the extra virgin oil has a higher acid, which is what gives it its character and flavor. But the pumice is a lot of that's reduced, so you can it'll have a higher smoking point at that point.
Yeah, I'll take the
Okay.
heat. Yeah.
All right, should we risk it?
It looks like it to me.
All right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
the
there we
sound
go.
we're
That's
looking
nice.
for.
All right, a little olive oil on that side.
Now, of course, the same time we're doing this, Johnny and Joel are over here, your crew in the back, and they're
Yes.
setting up the plates that you guys get to taste, right? And we've got we got a wine to go with that. Well, we're going to do the Chardonnay, right?
We are absolutely.
Why don't we, can we get that poured around, Lenore, you think? And everybody a little taste of Chardonnay? I'll just walk behind you, Bob.
Yeah, please do.
And this is, we're serving this kind of, almost room temperature on the Chardonnay, because I want you to get a full flavor of it. Normally, you wouldn't serve your whites quite this warm, but it'll give you an idea of the full flavor of the wine. And I think it'll go great with this dish.
I do. The salmon is going to be you're going to get a little astringency from the olive oil, which I think will balance nicely with the oak-aged Chardonnay.
Right.
And with the coriander, I think you're going to see some nice characteristics coming through that.
Yeah.
On the salmon, I'm going to just cook that, what we call à point, which is just a little rare.
And you call that what again?
À point.
Ah, really?
Yeah. A little
Maybe.
French we're going to introduce
That's
here.
very good. It's a class. You got
a
to learn here.
Okay. What I'm looking for here is I'm going to get a nice crisp on the salmon.
You're going to finish this in the oven, right?
Yes, I'm going to finish it in the oven, and what we're going to do on the plate is we're going to do a nice bunch of chervil, arugula, and then we're going to finish the plate with some more EVO and some more sea salt, and that'll be the finished plate.
Okay, good. And we're going to take a look at that finished plate over here. But what I'm going to do is, now this goes in the oven.
Yes.
Why don't we go ahead and do that and jump to the next dish? Because I
Absolutely.
want to show this one too. This is cool stuff.
All right.
And as you're kind of turning that out, I'll just real explain it. It's an heirloom salad, heirloom tomato salad.
Heirloom tomato
right?
salad. Pardon me.
And the heirlooms have gotten really popular now. I mean, it's hard to find these old varieties, and they're heirlooming everything, or to use that term. I mean, all sorts of vegetables and fruits. Well, you've got a Gravenstein out here, wasn't it?
I do. I do have a Gravenstein, yeah.
apple that you can't find commercially. But now they're starting to bring them back because they're such a wonderful apple to use. But they just, for some reason, fell out of favor.
They fell out of favor, but I think a lot of people were demanding a better flavor in their tomato. And to eat a tomato in December, you're just not getting the quality that you normally get with an heirloom.
Right.
They've got a very short growing season. What I have here are three. This is a ruby red, this is an adult zebra, and this is a yellow sunburst. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pour it out. Now most people would look at this and say, well, there's a lot of brown in here. I'm not going to want to eat that. But this is part of the natural tomato, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that intact.
Weren't a lot of these just from the sugar coming out of the tomato itself as well?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
add to that, the stripes and bumps and whatever.
Yeah, and that's all very natural. But to your point, you'll see that a lot of the tomatoes that you buy, just in the grocery store aren't going to have that.
Right.
They've actually farmed that out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and slice a couple here. And if you would grab the goat cheese out of the refrigerator.
Sure.
All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a very small dice on the tomato. And the idea here is, a lot of our dishes, we call them small plates. We don't call them tapas because they're not really Spanish influenced, but they are small plates. And the goal of these small plates is people are coming down to the beach, they really don't have time to cook, they get here late Friday night, and they just want to entertain with a glass of wine. And these small plates are perfect because they don't take a lot of prep. And they come together relatively
Well, when you were
quickly.
telling me about the class, I thought it was a great idea because we do come to the beach a lot and try to think of what you're going to do when you get here.
You're not going to do it like you're going to do at home. You probably won't have all this stuff. And all four of these recipes actually, other than maybe making your own sausage, which we're going to be doing, right?
Absolutely.
But you can actually do this very simply in a small confined area.
Yeah,
so
it works out really well.
It's a great beach area.
Okay, so this is actually Fraga goat cheese. Fraga is a farm in eastern Oregon, and they raise their own goats, and they make their own goat cheese. So we're pretty happy with it. And this is a farm cheese, so it's not as salty as a feta cheese.
Ah. Well, that's the other thing you should mention about the goat cheese, we talked about the apples, how much produce, how many products are grown out here on the coast. I think most of us think the coast is not where you're going to find
absolutely
apples and plums and all that kind of stuff, but it is. I mean, that plum tree you've got out there.
Oh, it's incredible. We have an Italian plum tree in the back. We've got a yellow transparent apple tree as well, 4 blueberry bushes that are prolific. We had 5 gallons of blueberries this season.
Jeez.
So it's been really great.
That's great. Now you guys go ahead and try that Chardonnay and salmon. Sip, bite, sip. So sip of the wine, and then try the salmon, and then the wine. And Bob and I are going to finish this up, have your next course, and when we come back, we'll have this plus 2 more recipes. So don't you go away. Stay right there. Hi, I'm John Sarich, and this is Best of Taste.
Come join us as we travel near and far to fantastic destinations.
Welcome to Japan, San Francisco, Tahiti, Croatia, Venice.
We work with some of the best chefs in the world, demonstrating techniques, sharing recipes, and searching out the freshest local ingredients. Incredible cuisine, fantastic wines, and unique lifestyles, all right here on Best of Taste.
All right, we're back now, Bob, and we did just when we were away, we did the tomato salad.
That's correct.
Which was, again, kind of simple as the goat cheese and the fresh heirloom tomato and...
A little bit of chive, again, more sea salt, EVO, and we're serving it with an artisan bread that we made earlier today.
Yeah, that you guys make here.
That we make here,
Right.
That's correct.
And we matched that with Chenin Blanc. We've used Chenin Blanc just a couple times because it's a wine that hasn't been, incredibly popular lately, but it seems to be coming back sort of like Riesling is too, so that seemed to work, I think. Don't you guys think that worked? Good.
Good.
So now this dish that I off camera, tried to spill all over the stove. Why don't we go ahead and explain what this is?
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
This is a homemade lamb sausage, and again, the whole philosophy behind EVO is to A, work within the seasons, and B, use the freshest ingredients possible, and let those ingredients speak for themselves. So this is a Moroccan-style lamb. It's a coarse ground lamb with a little bit of pork, and then cumin, coriander, a little bit of harissa, which we're going to make here for the group, and some garlic. This will be finished with some steamed potatoes. We're going to fold those together, let it roast in the oven for about 5 minutes while our bread is rising in the oven.
Good. Well, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So you just cook this up, brown the sausage until it's completely lost its red color.
Right. Just so we cook it through, and because all we want to do at this point is heat the potatoes up. And the harissa is already in this dish, and then we're going to garnish it with some more harissa.
Okay.
And at this point, the juices are flowing. We use some more olive oil to start the sausage process because there's not a lot of fat in the lamb.
Yeah, lamb's very lean, so when you do that, you're right. You need to
It's
add
actually
a little
good.
bit of fat.
And a lot of these dishes are very healthy. We don't cut back on the fat, but smaller portions are really not bad for you. It's everything in moderation.
I agree with you. I think that's
So we're going to
right.
pop this in the oven then.
Okay.
Alrighty. And we're going to let that go. The oven's at a 375-degree heat. Meanwhile, we're going to finish our harissa. Now, harissa,
let's
this
explain
happens
this
to be.
to everybody.
Yeah, this is a Moroccan-style harissa. This is cumin, coriander, a little bit of ground caraway, and it's brought together with a little bit of sea salt and EVO. So that's where we are here. What I'd like you to do is we're going to switch to the San Leandro EVO. This is an organic olive oil, a little more acetic acid, and it's going to be a little greener, which is going to give our harissa a little more character and flavor.
Okay. How much do you want to put in there?
Well, go ahead and keep adding. I'll let you know.
You tell
Pardon
me.
my
And then
reach.
you want to.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use
pestle there.
my pestle there. And what we're trying to do is get it to a pouring consistency, which are just about perfect. All right.
So you're just going to use this as a drizzle then, right?
That's correct. That's correct. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a spoon. Now, we're not going to taste it. We're going to count on our recipe this time because it's very strong. We can always adjust the salt in the final recipe. So go ahead and put the pestle to the side. You're good to go. And we're just going to serve right out of the mortar.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll do that.
The other dish that's going to go with that, if you grab out of there, we've got some chickpeas that we're going to make into hummus.
Now, you guys, I saw you telling Johnny and Joel over there, you cook the chickpea and then you actually cut it instead of grinding them and turning them into hummus. I mean, to make it all pasty.
Well, yeah,
you cut it with a knife.
Absolutely, and there's a rationale behind that. If you grab the olive oil too, I'll tell you.
Can you use the same one?
Actually, we're going to use the other olive oil.
I
A
knew
couple
that.
reasons why we're switching back to and out of this hat. No, the reason we're using this before we add it is because we want less acid in this. Now, these are actually canned garbanzo beans. What we want to do is, because again, people coming down on the beach don't have time to really shop. Take canned garbanzo beans, you put them, cover them with water, bring them to a boil. That takes that tinny taste out of there because a lot of people don't have time to really cook them.
Right.
And so when they come out, and again, most people at the beach don't have a Cuisinart or a Roboku or something like that. So just dice by hand. Consistency isn't as important as just the look. We've got some chopped parsley in here, some garlic, some more sea salt, and we're going to add the olive oil.
Okay.
And we're going
You
to
wanna
pour
do that
that.
now?
Yeah, please do. We're going to pour that just to create the consistency we're looking for. And actually, we're going to, for this amount, we're going to add quite a bit, actually.
Okay.
And we're just going to stir that in. And that looks perfect.
Up there.
All right?
Nice.
All right. Now, my preference, we've got some lemon zest in here too, and what we do is we take just a light rind off. I use what's called a microplane, which is a razor sharp zester, and I just take the light side off. So it's going to have a nice, fresh aroma to it
Just
as
a little
well.
tiny hit to that. You guys sell that microplane here, don't you? Don't you have
We
one of
do.
those?
Thank you.
Just thought,
Give me better plugs.
might
than
have
that.
had one of those there. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
All right.
What I'd recommend then, while that's cooking, if you want, we can go ahead and start the galette.
Yeah, let's do that because Bob's got a great dessert and it's going to take a little more time. So as this is cooking, like I said, we're going to start the galette going. Again, seasonal stuff. Are these your apples you're using out of here?
Yeah, thank you. These are the Graham and Seeds that you referred to. These are an heirloom potato. Excuse me. These are an heirloom apple, and what we're going to do is we're going to peel them down. Now they're very tart, so I won't add any lemon juice. If I was making this dish somewhere else, I might add some lemon juice. We're going to mix this with Basque pears that are in season, and we're going to combine them with a lot of sweet spices. But we're going to make what we call a beach pie, which classically would be called a galette, which is a free-form pie. And it's okay if it's going to fall apart in the oven because that's the whole idea. We just want to come to the beach and have fun.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
God knows we are.
If you grab that tray for me.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah, right here is perfect. Okay. So as far as ingredients, I'm going to start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got a half a teaspoon of sea salt. And again, I'm using the gray sea salt here. Then I'm going to use my little pastry blender just to kind of mix them all together. I'm going to add my shortening. And there's some butter in there if you grab out of the refrigerator for me.
You got it.
And I'm going to just go ahead and cut that in. And every once in a while, as I'm cutting in, I'm going to toss the flour in to
Just
try.
a little bit like that?
Yeah, actually, both of them will
Both
be
of
good.
them will do.
Yeah, we're going to use them both. Thank
All
you.
right.
And then I'm just going to cut that in. Now, what I want to do is I don't want to overdevelop the flour because that's going to make my pie mealy. I just want to make it nice and flaky. That's perfect. Thank you. So I'm going to make thin slices with the butter. And I'm going to turn this bowl in a moment so you can all see what I'm working on. All right. Just toss that around. Now this, pie crust really intimidate a lot of people, but this is such a simple crust, and you're going to see that the time people make the most mistake is when they add the water. So we're going to add this quickly, and we're going to do most of our forming of this in the saran wrap. And we're just about there.
Well, I think the key too, cold butter, cold water.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people think you have to cut that in, you have to warm up the butter, and that really messes up the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's cold.
Absolutely. So what I've got here is I've just taken the ice out of the water before we went back on camera, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that. I've got about half a cup. The water varies depending on the humidity, and at the beach I usually use a lot less. So I'm using a little plastic spatula to mix that around to keep it off my fingers. I'll judge the consistency.
Now, do you have some already in the refrigerator?
We do,
Let
we
me
do.
Pull this out because we're going
If you would. Okay.
show this and then run to a break real quick. And again, once you've done the flour, here's another thing, is you let this rest in the refrigerator, right?
I'll let this
Before
rest
you-
for about at least 20 minutes.
20 minutes, okay.
And all I'm going to do is put this into the saran wrap, form it in the saran wrap, and we're good to go.
Cool. So
Do you
what?
ever use a food processor or a mixer to make your pickles?
Prefer not to. I think it makes it kind of chewy and tough.
Yeah, I think
by doing it lightly by
beats up the
hand.
glutens a bit more, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It makes it chewy. Some people can get the knack for it, but I find this very user-friendly.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is good to go.
Now, let me just ask you about this. We've got the sugar real quick here because we only got about 30 seconds. Sugar.
Sugar, cinnamon,
and-
vanilla,
Okay.
a little bit of flour to tighten it up when we cook it in the oven, and some butter to finish it off.
And that'll go on the apples.
That'll go into
and
the
the pear.
apples and the
Apple
pear,
pear, right.
and then that'll heat up in the oven. Because it's not a closed pie crust, we're really depending on the heat of the oven to cook the apples from top
Right.
to bottom.
Cool.
And you'll see the finished galette here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we're going to come back and have that. We're also going to come back and have that lamb dish. We'll put that together for you,
Yeah.
and 2 more wines. You okay for that? All right, good, good. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Well, we're back again, Bob. Before we get to the dessert thing, so this is the plate that was presented. That's the lamb sausage.
That's the lamb,
yep.
correct.
And we did that with a Syrah. Real quick, too, we'll go back from the first dish, the salmon with the Chardonnay. I think everybody liked that. The tomato salad deal with the goat cheese and the Chenin, I think, was a hit.
Absolutely.
But this is fun because that's what it looks like. We were working on while we were gone.
Absolutely. This is the beach pie. This actually is going to fall, and it's supposed to fall, and that's quite all right. But we're just going to go ahead and plate that sucker up.
Great.
And a little bit of yogurt and cream.
And that's just mixed together, cream and yogurt.
Cream and yogurt, yeah. It's an unsweetened cream. And then these are candied hazelnuts.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. And then what we've got this is late harvest Riesling to go with a dish like that. It's going to be great. So you get this after we're off the air, and that'll be great. So, hey, Bob, I want to thank you guys all for being here, obviously.
Please,
but,
thank you.
But Bob, thank you. You and your wife, great success.
Thank you.
I know you'll have a great success.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you next time on Best of Taste.
Accommodations for the Best of Taste crew provided by the Ocean Lodge in Cannon Beach, Oregon.
On today's show, we returned. I'm sorry, I just try it again. That's nice. They just stopped. You guys just leave us alone here all of a sudden. And a cooking school, and we'll be creating some great recipes for you. So don't miss it. So stay tuned. I know, but it wouldn't be good for the director to look into the camera. Can't get it right.
Workman's
I mean, I can eyeball this thing. Kitchen school and a kitchen shop called EBO. We'll create some great recipes for you, so don't miss it. Stay tuned. Do whatever you want to do, but don't go anywhere.